Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us here on KREM 2 News at noon. I'm Laura Papetti. It is good to see you on this Wednesday. It is right at the top of the noon hour right now. We're going to head outside and join our good friend Thomas Patrick, who is talking about the weather. Thomas, absolutely beautiful and mild so far, but don't know if things are going to change up a bit.
Yeah, it's like plenty warm out here, Laura. And really the thing for the rest of this week is that the rain chances have gone down, but not quite to 0%, at least not just yet. And that's what I've been keeping my eyes on mostly here. And while conditions today are sunny but hazy out here, it does look like today should be one of our driest days remaining this week. There's like lingering moisture, but it's not being realized at the moment over our southern areas. But if it's going to rain, it would be in our southern areas very late tonight. But honestly, trending like the rest of the day should be pretty easy going out there. Our temperature is pretty modest at the moment, mid-70s all throughout the inland northwest and just getting into the 80s for central Washington. But I did reference that haze, and it just seems like it's a little bit thicker over our heads, but it's not down on the ground. So the air quality is not any lower than it would be otherwise. But the haze is certainly noted, and our modeling still has it in place at least for the next day or day and a half. We'll monitor that closely, but I think the rain chances are going to be a bit more important heading into Thursday, which is our best chance of rain, but it is lowering. I know that sounds complicated, but I'll give you the latest details as to what these rain chances will ultimately look like across the inland northwest, all coming up.
Coming in new this afternoon, WSU football fans can now buy alcohol at games as early as this year. So not quite yet, but it's coming. The Washington Liquor and Cannabis Board met earlier this morning and voted to approve a pilot program allowing the sale of beer and wine in all the general seating sections at Martin Stadium. That's with the exception of the student section. They will not be serving there. You will only be able to buy 2 drinks per transaction, and it will all be served in clear plastic cups. The motion hearing for Kevin Coe, the man convicted of multiple rapes on Spokane South Hill back in the 1980s, that hearing was canceled. We mentioned yesterday the court hearing was scheduled for Friday, but the court says the proper motions were not filed in time. Yet he has another hearing scheduled for October 2nd, and during that hearing, the court will consider releasing Coe. The Department of Social and Health Services says he no longer meets the criteria of a sexually violent predator. If the court agrees, Coe could be released within a day of his October 2nd hearing. The state says because of his age and health, he would be released to a care facility in either Pierce or King County. 28 Washington families have filed lawsuits against Amazon for selling products their children use to end their lives. The state Supreme Court heard arguments yesterday on whether the company can be held liable. Sodium nitrate, a legal chemical commonly used as a food preservative, can be deadly if consumed in certain amounts. 28 teens and young adults died by suicide after ingesting the sodium nitrate. Their families allege that Amazon knew what the product was being used for and did not do anything to stop it until banning sales back in 2022. Amazon's attorney says the company has no way of knowing if customers are suicidal and cannot be held responsible for those actions. If you or someone you know is struggling, help is available. You can call or text 988. That's for the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. A Spokane County judge sentenced 3 men for committing crimes in prison. The 3 men from Spokane, Moses Lake, and Yakima helped run the National La Nuestra Familia prison gang. Court documents say they were recruiting young people into the gang and then encouraging them to commit violent crimes by promising them better living conditions. The judge sentenced them to between 6 and 10 years in prison for the crimes, which include money laundering and assault. And we do have an update for you on the fire at Avista Stadium. Spokane Valley fire investigators say the fire was accidental. They say it started in the space above the walk-in cooler at the main concession stand and then spread into the attic. Unfortunately, there were no smoke detectors or fire detection systems. It looks like the fire caused anywhere between $2 and $2.5 million in damage. The city of Spokane is considering changing when they hold their weekly council meetings, and they are asking the community for help in figuring out when those should be. So if they do end up making the change, it would be the first time for the city in more than 100 years to make that switch. Right now, council meetings are every Monday at 6 o'clock. Council members say, though, some residents are worried that holding the meetings on Mondays does limit turnout.
A lot of those issues come from it being at the end of a weekend, and people don't have time to prepare for a council meeting on the weekend.
Council members are now asking the community to complete a survey, asking them what day would work best, what they want to attend, and if meetings should be every other week. So if you have feedback, we have a link to the survey that's posted on KREM.com, and that survey closes coming up September 21st at midnight. After that, the council will vote on this issue in October, and if approved, the new schedule would start by August of 2026.